From earbuds to portables, from automotive and marine to home audio setups. From movie theaters we visit to concerts we attend, JBL products can consistently be the source for audio we love to consume with the ears God gave us. Alright, how about you everybody? Hope everybody's doing alright. Welcome to JBL Life, where we review mainly JBL products. This is the JBL Professional EON One. But first off, full disclosure, I thought this unit was still in production. This apparently has been discontinued recently, but they have several new models out to replace it. One is the EON One Mark II, and that has a battery power. It is beefier, 1500 watt amp compared to about 380 for this version, and has a rechargeable battery, which will be handy in certain situations. And then they also introduced a smaller, more compact version, the IRX One. It's got an 8-inch woofer versus a 10-inch in the EON One and EON One Mark II. And then you can step up to the PRX One, which has a 12-inch woofer and a 2000 watt amplifier in it. So a lot more options you can have, and JBL is always good about giving you options. So I think this EON One I'm going to review was kind of the original, and it was such a success that, you know, they came out with these other versions as well. So a couple of reasons you might want to watch this video going forward. One, you might want to look for a used EON One, and you might want to see how they hold up over the years and how they sound. So this is a great video for that. Or two, you might be looking at one of the newer models and want to see how the original model worked for us over the years. And as we get into this review, how the years fly by. I looked it up, and we bought this thing all the way back in 2016 for a dance studio that I work with for sound and video. They needed a new sound system for their community shows, and I looked around, compared this to the Bose unit that was out at the time, and said, yeah, definitely, let's go with the JBL. So here we go. You'll see we promptly got the cart and cover that comes with it, and I recommend this. Even though you can carry the unit, it's about 40 pounds, it helps having a rolly cart with it and the cover just to keep it protected. Okay, you'll see in the back of the cover there's a nice little pocket where you can put all your cords and cables, and then the top of it will open up too, so you can see the controls and so forth if you need to, and get to the handle. Okay, at the bottom you'll see how it attaches to the base with Velcro and on each side, and then there's these clips also, that straps that clip on. One note about these, they will break off if you try to pick the whole unit up by the cover. So I just recommend, if you do get the cover, don't pick the whole thing up with the cover, just bend down and get the platform and the whole thing. Alright, spinning it around, you see in the back is where the columns are. So there's 3 different columns, 2 that have the spacers, and then 1 has the actual tweeters or high frequency units in it. And when you put it in, you always want to put it with the screw holes to the back. Okay, here's one of the spacers. You see in the end these little plastic connectors that connect on each end. And I admit, when I saw these things at first, I thought those things are going to break off. But again, we've had this thing since 2016. It's been used many times a year, and they have held up fine and still connect fine. So you can put no spacers in, you can put 1 spacer in, or both spacers, depending on the height you need. So there's as short as it will go with no spacers, or you can put the spacers in and it'll go that high, which is usually the height we operated at. Okay, let's take a look at the back. Channels 1 and 2 have XLR and 1/4-inch input capabilities. There's treble bass for EQs, reverb effects. And then channel 3 and 4, 1/4-inch and RCA with their own volume. And then you see Bluetooth pairing. There's a master volume, and then there's a phono plug too, and then monitor out. And at the bottom, you have your power input where your power cord plugs into an on and off switch as well. Okay, let's look at the transducers. You can't really see behind the grill, but the 10-inch woofer is behind it, and this is what it looks like. With, you see the ports on the bottom. And then on the top, as I mentioned, there are 6 2-inch drivers for the mid and high frequencies. And you can see they're in a linear array, which is what virtually every large venue sound system uses today for its excellent even coverage, both horizontally and vertically. Okay, looking at the specs real quick, a lot of these I've already touched on, but 118 dB peak volume via a Class D amplifier with 380 watts, 250 watts to the woofer, and then 130 watts to the high frequency drivers. And then, yeah, it weighs 40.8 pounds. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Let's get this thing cranked up and we'll do some tests and see how it sounds. You'll see that little white light knowing that it's on and you have power. All right, let's do Bluetooth pairing. Okay, first let's run our frequency sweep. Okay, looking at the results, we see that it starts to taper off around 46 hertz on the low end, pretty linear in the mid-range, and then when it gets to, what is that, 6,000 hertz, 6,000, it starts to dip off a little bit and then rolls off towards 20,000 hertz. But knowing how this is a loudspeaker designed to get loud and provide a good coverage of sound over a large area, I went ahead and did a couple angles. So I did straight on and then 22.5 and then 45-degree angles. So looking at this graph, you can see the straight ahead in red and 22.5 at green are pretty close. When you get off to 45, you notice in the 100 to 200 range for bass, the blue at 45 does dip a little bit, and then in the high frequencies there, it does drop a little bit. But I'll do a walk around when we listen to some music, and you can also get an estimate of what kind of side coverage it has, which I think is pretty good. Okay, we're gonna play a few song clips, but for a speaker like this, you always play it in a big room, right? Or outside. So I picked this big room, but unfortunately it's gonna have a lot of echo and reverb in it. So I apologize for that. It's not gonna be real clear, but we'll see how loud it gets at a distance in a big room like this. Okay, there's some sound clips and decibel measurements. And again, I apologize for the sound quality. It really sounds better than this recording does, but due to that room and the size of it and the echo, it didn't come through as clear as it really should. But to wrap things up, I highly recommend these portable JBL Live columns. They just sound really good. They get loud like we need them for the dance recitals that we did, even in the mall area, and they hold up well. They have great features, and especially the new ones. So I just highly recommend, if you have a small gig or a small live performance you need sound for, check out these JBL EON products. They work really well.